The other question is about Nasheed. What is wrong with Islamic Nasheed?
As for Nasheeds, brothers, this is a little simple principle that you lot have to remember when it comes to the deen, yeah? Anything that does not bring you benefit, then stay far away from it. And anything that brings you benefit, then go as close to it as possible. So there's many things that, even if we don't say they're haram, we just say, what is the benefit in it? What is the benefit in listening to Nasheeds? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has left the greatest miracle ever, and that is the Quran. Can all of us in this room say that we're hafizes of the Quran? That we've all memorized the Quran? So what happens one day when your child grows up and says, Dad, I've memorized Surah for the Quran, can you help me? Oh, sorry, I don't know it. How do you feel as a man? What was you doing? But I know this Nasheed though, it goes like this. What's this? What are you teaching your child? Then when your child listens to the Nasheeds, slowly, but surely, he's going to just creep onto music secretly. He's going to creep onto music, especially with YouTube nowadays. YouTube is it's a very evil place. You just go there to watch an Islamic lecture, next thing you know, you're hearing some music song and half-naked woman talking about, oh yes, purchase this Lancome. A'udhu billah. So what I'm saying to you people is that, what is the benefit in a Nasheed if you have the Quran? Many of us are just neglecting the Quran. We just got it on our shelves and it's just got dust. Most of these Qurans never probably even been picked up for months, maybe even years. Next Ramadan, everyone will have one in their hand. But now what happens? We're at home listening to Nasheeds. It's not beneficial, my brothers. So don't go to anything that's not beneficial for you. Now, and then you know what happens? That most people that listen to Nasheed artists, yeah, and I'd say even some poetry artists, it's always slightly coming next to the music. You know, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, do not even go near zina. Some sins you don't open the door to them. Some sins you don't open the door to them. You don't actually go to the door of some sins. Because once you open that door, brothers, wallahi, that door is nearly impossible to close. And that's why there's some punishments that in Islam are death. Some punishments, they come through death. That's the only way of how to rectify that situation now. There's no other way to do it in Islam. So when you open some doors, you have to be careful what is actually coming out of them. So you listening to Nasheeds, it's not even beneficial. It's not going to help your life. It's not going to make you any better. And subconsciously, you're going to be like, I want more than this, man. This is not even sounding good. You know, everything's always wanting more. You see the person who smokes one cigarette. He starts smoking that cigarette. He starts feeling a little head rush. After that head rush goes, he's going to say, bro, I need something stronger. Let me get some weed. Smokes the weed, gets high. He's like, whoa. After 3 years of smoking weed, he's like, bruv, I need some real stuff. My man's like, bruv, I got something for you, bruv. Yeah, see this thing here? This thing gonna mash you up. So he goes and smokes it, and that's it, he's gone. Next thing you know, my man's in a madhouse. You think in your head, how did these people turn crazy? I know a lot of you see people, I don't know if it's around here, but in London, there's so many people that are like Majnoon. And not to be getting a little deep now, but a lot of these people are black people as well. Yeah? So what I'm trying to say to you is, don't ever underestimate the power of them drugs. Just once taking a one hit, let me just listen to 5 Nasheeds. Before you know it, these Nasheeds are kind of dead. Let me slap on this music video. So don't go near it. You got the Quran. The Quran is so beautiful. I'd say to all the brothers now, if you don't love the Quran, it's because you don't find the right reciter for you. The right reciter for me is not the same reciter for you. I like them old school, slow reciters. That's me. But you might like something else. You might like Idris Abkar. Find your reciter. There's always a reciter that's going to touch you, because the Quran is that powerful. And what does Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala say about the Quran? In the Quran, what does he say in the Quran? He says, if this Quran was revealed on a mountain, then verily it would crumble out of fear of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. If it can do that to a mountain, what about our hearts, brothers? What's the Nasheed going to do? Crumble our heart? Did Allah say it about Nasheed? He said about the Quran. So return back to the Quran, my brothers. Open it and read it today. It's the best book.
Jazakallah khair to our brother for talking about Nasheed. Before I talk about Nasheed, 2 things. First of all, I forgot to mention something very important about contemporary music. Contemporary music, brothers and sisters, today doesn't make money from selling units of MP3s and records. For most artists, the money comes from touring. And for most companies, there is some money to be made, but the real role of music industry and the entertainment industry is ideology, conveying ideas. And one of the ideas that we find, and forgive me if I'm a bit controversial, is the feminization of men. What do I mean? We have a number of individuals who claim to be thugs, gangsters, will kill you in a second. One look, they will shoot at you. Somebody like the rapper Young Thug. Young Thug is claimed to be a gangbanger, to be some kind of gangster rapper, real life, not an actor, real life. But this same rapper, we see him wearing a dress. This same rapper, he refers to his men friends as hubbies. And it's one thing if he was out there on the side. For real. Real. But he's a mainstream rapper. And not only does he wear a dress, brothers and sisters, on social media, the man has worn a dress on Vogue magazine. The #1 fashion magazine in the world is Vogue. In Vogue, he was wearing a dress. And brothers and sisters, I remember I saw a video clip. Certain rap artists were asked about this, and they were cowards. Didn't have the guts to speak the truth. ASAP Fergie said, well, nobody can wear it like Young Thug. That's Young Thug for you. But brothers and sisters, the Prophet ﷺ cursed the man who dressed like the woman and the woman who dressed like the man. But this is what we're getting from music. This ideology where it's okay to wear a dress. Is it okay to wear a dress? Who thinks it's okay? Raise your hands. Who thinks it's not okay to raise your hands? But this is what you're listening to, and this is what you're being taught. So I just wanted to bring note to this issue of music. And there's many things we can say, but we don't have time. As for Nasheed, I'd like to make a few points. First of all, Nasheed is a Persian word. It relates to both music and to poetry. In Islamic history, the Sahaba radiallahu anhum ajma'een and those who followed them never had Nasheed. They had poetry, which is nothing like the Nasheed that we have today. Maher Zain Bika wasn't known in the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. This is known as the religion of the mystics. Those people who believe that there's two versions to Islam. One is ilm al-batin, the hidden knowledge, only for those people in their Sufi brotherhood. They are the ones who forever and ever had this music. They use music as a means of getting close to Allah. Just like the Christians. Does anybody in this room believe that if Jesus ﷺ was alive today, he'd be in a church with a guitar in his hand singing music? Raise your hands. If we believe he wouldn't be doing this, raise your hands. So the Christians have taken song and dance as a means of getting close to Allah. So much so, they get into a frenzy. And you see them on the floor rolling around, speaking in tongues. They call it tongues. Angel language. My question, where's the angel dictionary? So we can see what they are saying is actually the language of the angels. And this is Nasheed for you. Nasheed, brothers and sisters, the ulama have spoken against it. Scholars such as Sheikh Abdulaziz bin Baz, rahimullah, Muhammad ibn Salih Uthaymeen, rahimullah, and Muhammad Nasiruddin al-Albani, rahimullah. We recently had some brothers, our brother Ali Dawa and our brother Musa Adnan, who came out with a video saying Nasheed is permissible. They said in their video, Nasheed is permissible. Where's the dalil? Bring us an ayah from the Quran, hadith from the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, statement from the Salaf. That's dalil. Not what you think. But this is the problem, and they said it quite rightly. They don't care. They don't care. They bring one statement from a scholar today, ignoring all the fatwa of those who came before them. The teachers of their scholars who they point to say Nasheed is okay. But Nasheed is what you are putting forward, Nasheed. Look at what we call Nasheed. The so-called Deen Squad is Nasheed. How is that Nasheed? The Deen Squad, they take a record like Little M.A. or Little Ma. So they take Little Ma, who should be actually Little Pa, flip it over, and they start singing Allah, Muhammad on this track, saying it's halal. When I first came to Islam, those of you who know me know I say this all the time. I was a Sufi Nashqabandi. Used to be with the Sufis. So those days in South London where I lived, there weren't any halal butchers. Not like today, mashallah, everywhere there's a halal butcher or a chicken shop. Those days there were no halal butchers. The nearest halal butcher was in Tooting, like 2 hours away from me. So I said to the brother who I became Muslim with, and I became Muslim in a dhikr circle. So we started off with Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Then we moved on to La ilaha illallah, La ilaha illallah. And then we said Allahu, hu. That's what we ended on. That is Islam to these people. That's the deen. That's how I took my shahada. So I said to the brother, there's no halal butcher in our area. What should we do? Do you know what his response was, brothers and sisters? His response was, you simple, go to any butcher you want to. Any supermarket. Wallahi al-azim, I'm not lying. You want to bring the mushaf? I'll put my hand and I swear to Allah on the mushaf. He said, go to any butcher, any supermarket, you bring meat. Of course, no pork. Chicken, lamb, goat. And you say Bismillah 18 times. Bismillah, 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 Bismillah. 18 times and it's halal. What's the difference between this ignorance and what the ignorance of the Deen Squad? You flip it over and you start saying over it, Allah, Muhammad is messenger. Same with the guy, Umar Isa. He gets Adele, flips it over and starts singing like Michael Jackson about Allah and his messenger. And this is the reality. And so our brothers, may Allah guide us and guide them. No one's trying to diss anybody, but we're keeping it real here. Those who don't like it real, you're living in a fantasy land. But keeping it real here. Ulama have said no to Nasheed. And even those who give conditions, I ask you in the name of Allah, Maher Zayn meets those conditions? Omar Isa, Michael Jackson sounding his voice out meets those conditions? Deen Squad with their ooh meets those conditions? None of them meet those conditions. And brothers and sisters, we find something from this. That there is a transgression from Nasheed to the real stuff. The real stuff. When I was younger, I used to listen to reggae music. And in the reggae music, they would talk about when they were young, they would have tobacco with the weed. And a marking of a man, no more tobacco, only weed. This is how you move. And so what do we find with these people, brothers and sisters? They move away from Nasheed to the real stuff. Look at Adam Saleh. Look at Adam Saleh. Look at Fossey Tubes or whatever his name is. Look at them. It would be one thing, brothers and sisters. You have people who are Muslim and they make music and they say, listen, I don't want to mix this with that. But these people, because they know we are naive, they come out singing Allah, Muhammad, Islam. But the manager says to them, listen, bro, mashallah, you got tens or hundreds of thousands of hits and views. If you want to make it big time in the millions, you got to ditch the Islamic stuff. And what do you see? They're coming out, Fossey Tubes, Adam Saleh, they're telling you what fools we were. They're laughing at your face. They're saying, I used to pretend I was a saint. He used to pretend he was a good Muslim. At the same time, he's in the club. At the same time, he's drinking alcohol. The same time, he's smoking weed. The same time, he's watching porn. The same time, he's doing everything a non-Muslim does. But the face he's given to you, brothers and sisters, is of a righteous person. Then when he hits the million slot, what does he do? Ditch you. The same way a philanderer ditches women. Had enough? Bye-bye, I'm on my way. And so, what we find, brothers and sisters, and here is the test. The Prophet, Allah says, the Prophet ﷺ said in the Quran, oh my Lord, my people have abandoned the Quran. Test yourselves. You're going on a journey home. What do you want to listen to? Maher Zain, Zain Bika, the so-called Deen Squad. What do you want to listen to? This or the Quran? Vote in the car. You'll find everybody's hands up will be for the Nasheed. Nobody wants to hear the Quran. And this is our situation. And so, brothers and sisters, just want to add that about the Nasheed.